Welcome to episode 56 of Paris Playbook. Today I'm joined by Greg Susinski of the University of Jamestown Jimmy's men's hockey team. Greg, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy tomorrow's Friday and the weekend's almost
Absolutely.
here. No complaints there. So for those who don't know, University of Jamestown's hockey, you guys play in the ACHA. Did you know what the ACHA was when you were younger, like in high school or stuff like that?
To be honest, no. Until about junior, probably around the end of my first year and my second year. That's kind of when I saw a couple videos come out from the ACHA. I kind of got a little bit of knowledge on it, not too much, but yeah, I didn't really know about it until I was probably 18 or 19.
I'm gonna kind of lump these together. Maybe you can like just touch on your juniors experience quick. And then did you have a recruiting like from Jamestown? I know some ACHA programs recruit more heavily than others, and so it's different for everyone how they got on the team.
Yeah, so I played junior in BC in the KIJHL. It's junior B out there. I think the league just went junior A this year, but yeah, it was great. The town was awesome. The sport we got, the fans. It was a ski town, so we got a lot of Aussie bums that came out. They made it exciting to go to the rink every day for sure. So, yeah, junior was awesome. Great billets, everything. And recruiting kind of came towards my middle of the second year for me in Fernie. So I got a call just kind of out of the blue almost from a couple schools. Um, Jamestown was one of the later schools that talked to me at the end of my 20 year. So at that point, I think I had 10 or 11 before them, but I got to go on a fly down for them. And I talked to Dean at the rink a couple times on the phone a lot. So that's kind of how the recruiting got started at Jamestown. The fly down was probably the biggest helping hand for them for sure.
So what in the end drew you to going to play in the ACHA, a league that you really didn't know about for too long?
Honestly, the talking to other guys that have played in the league prior to when I was coming down helped a lot. Get to know kind of about the league a little bit, about the lifestyle that they live. And honestly, the opportunity that was here was something I couldn't really turn my head on because Jamestown was in its fourth year at the time being a program. So with all the turnover rate from their first class, I knew that there was going to be a huge opportunity there for honestly power play minutes and penalty kill minutes and just getting that experience really early and being able to be a guy to make an impact. That was pretty big in my recruiting process for sure to Jamestown. And obviously the fly down, just meeting all those guys and seeing kind of the culture that they were starting to bring that into perspective for myself now, being in my fourth year and being a captain here. I got to see it when I was young. And now it's just kind of the culture that they had is something that I wanted to keep going. So it's a pretty easy choice after that.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, 4 years, 109 games, 79 points. Is it crazy to think that you've been there for 4 years already?
Yeah, definitely. Um, it feels like yesterday that I came in here as a freshman and didn't really know too much, just trying to get my feet wet in the league and in school, honestly, it was a little bit tough at first, but now it just everything kind of comes second nature and it's hard to believe that it's almost over at this point.
Yeah. So, you've been in the league for long enough to kind of have a good idea of pretty much how the ACHA operates. And like we were talking off camera, it's an underrated league. There's a lot of talent there. Guys go pro and their schools playing NCAA programs, beating NCAA programs. Um, but there's also some crazy stuff that happens in the ACHA. You see it on the different Instagram pages, the ACHA show, and some programs that don't have as much funding and so it's an interesting league. Have you seen anything crazy in your time? Anything weird?
We've definitely had our fair share of weird stuff happen. Um, Honestly, I'd say the craziest thing that happened for us was traveling to nationals. We didn't get a big bus. We had a little people mover bus with a trailer with all of our stuff in it to get to the airport. We left at like 4 a.m. I think it was 2 hours down the road. The trailer fell off the back of the bus, was dragging down the highway. We all packed our gear onto the bus with us. We were all sitting with our bags in our laps. Got to the airport, got told we weren't actually on a flight. We had, I think, 11 guys leave that day. We had 9 of us stay behind. Took us 3 days to get there with 2 split squads of the team. Head coach is at home, couldn't make the trip with us at the start. So that was pretty crazy, not being a part of a full group, traveling through different airports. I think as a team, we touched 6 different cities to get there. Yeah, the bus breaking down, not having an actual bus. It's been some wild stuff for sure.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy story. That's I think that kind of you can see throughout the ACHA how you never know what's going to happen with different programs and just people with different experiences that you see. I mentioned about teams beating NCAA programs. You guys played a D3 squad this year and beat them too, didn't you?
Yeah, so we played Concordia, which is only about an hour and a half down the road from Jamestown. So we played them last year. It was pretty challenging, to be honest. It was a good 2 games. It was a good learning experience for us. And then this year we've got an older group, so it was a little bit easier for us going into those games, obviously playing them before. And then Saturday night we went into their barn and said, you know what, it's time that we just play our game and have fun with it, and ended up beating them 5-0. So it's a pretty good road win. The boys are pretty happy about that.
Yeah. And those are the kind of wins that, when people start to see that, they'll understand that this isn't a league you can just brush off and, it's just club hockey. These guys aren't that good. When you see a team beat an NCAA program 5-0, you know that there's a lot of talent in that league.
Absolutely.
You guys also have 2 wins over Minot this year, and Minot's been one of the premier programs in the past few years for ACHA teams. I mean, they're a top-notch program. So what was it like to get multiple wins over them so far this season?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Freshman year, I think we played them 16 times. With half the league was shut down, we played them 16 in 1 year, 8 last year and 8 the year before. And honestly, with our group being so young, I think there's 16 of us came in together as freshmen. It's nice to actually see that all the work we've done over the last 3-4 years now is kind of clicking and coming to life. So it feels good to beat them. We've had a rivalry for a long time. So yeah, those are definitely 2 wins that I'm happy about, and I'm hoping to get 2 more later on.
Yeah. And you guys have other, ranked wins, obviously, this season. You guys are having a pretty good year. What's the feeling around the team, coaches, players, everything, and what kind of where you guys are at right now?
Honestly, it's different for me to experience now, especially with, like I said, an older group and a bunch of guys that I've been with for the last 4 years. We kind of just decided, like, hey, this is it. This is our last year. We've got a ton of experience in this room. It's going to come together at some point, and it's kind of started to come together now for us. We've got a lot of good freshmen. The group's really tight. I don't think I've been on a team that's been this tight before. And so everybody's kind of hopped on the same page here and said, this is our year to do it. Let's get it done the right way. So it's been a process, but everybody's bought in and it's working out so far.
Yeah, you want to try to go out on top, right?
Exactly.
So what's your best memory, with Jamestown hockey looking back over the last 4 years?
Yeah, it's hard to put it on just one, to be honest. There's been so many memories with so many different guys. But as a team, honestly, for myself, just visiting all over the United States, obviously being a Canadian player, it's pretty cool to go to places that I've never been. I think we went to New York last year. We hit the New York City, the Times Square down there. Went up to Long Island. That was pretty cool. I've never seen that other than in movies, but it's exactly as it's pictured. So that was cool. Arizona was a good trip. Vegas again. Oklahoma was fun too. It's just seeing those places is pretty cool, but I think the top one for me would be winning the conference last year. To be one of the guys that is helping this program become a top five kind of program, and be kind of a higher end program is pretty big. And to win the first conference title is definitely the best one for me.
Yeah, being part of that building block, someday you can look back when the team is, people are going to talk about Jamestown in the same breath as Minot, and you can look back and realize that you were part of what it took to get it there, and you can always feel good about that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned being a Canada player. I can see the jersey behind you up there on the wall. You were with Team Canada at the World University Games. That had to have been a pretty, just like an amazing honor, one, to get to wear your country's jersey and to get to compete on a national stage at the World University Games.
Yeah, that was probably the highlight of my hockey career to this point. Obviously younger, I was pretty small, not quite quick enough, was getting cut a lot. So to see something like that come into my life, at the time it did, it was something that I'll remember forever. And it's such a huge honor, like you said, to wear a Team Canada jersey, something you dream about as a young player. So that was really cool to do. The experience was amazing. I got to meet a lot of great people, a lot of good players out there too. I got to see, obviously getting to see Romania was pretty cool. I don't think I'll ever be back there, so that's an added plus. But yeah, it was definitely something that I'm going to cherish forever, and it was probably the highlight of my career so far.
Yeah, yeah, well, of course. I mean, the whole just representing your country, like you said, every kid dreams about that, but not many people get to do that. There's so few opportunities to get an opportunity to put your country's jersey on. So to get that, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. Awesome that you were able to achieve that. You mentioned being smaller, and now you're not. You're 6'4", just pretty big when you get on skates. I was looking at your guys' roster. You got quite a few guys on the team that are 6'4", some bigger guys, which obviously can help if you want to play a more physical game. But are you a fighter? Have you ever been a fighter?
Wouldn't say yes. I wouldn't say no.
Fight if
Obviously,
you have to.
I'm not going to go out there and look for it, but if somebody wants to, I'm not going to tell them no. So
Yeah.
sometimes it has to happen, and it has in the past. In junior, it happened a couple times, and nobody wanted to do it again, so it only had to happen a couple times. But
Yeah. I should know this, but can you fight in the ACHA?
you get kicked out for the game, so it's technically no, but it definitely has happened. I
Yeah.
think my freshman year we had 4 or 5, so it's definitely something that does happen. I mean, obviously, guys in the ACHA, we all just love the game,
Right.
so it gets pretty competitive, and obviously stuff happens on the ice that has to get dealt with. So it
Yeah.
definitely happens. It's not technically allowed, but there's definitely no heavy rules against it yet. So
Right. Coaches get pretty pissed if somebody gets in a fight and they get kicked out, or it depends on the situation.
I'd say depends on the situation for sure. There's been a couple where I've kind of given my coach a look like, hey, if it happens again, don't be don't be in my ear if I do something. But yeah, if it depends on the situation for sure. There's a couple that were pretty unnecessary that he wasn't too happy with, but there were others that needed to happen. And I mean, heat of the game, changed
Right.
momentum a little bit. So he doesn't mind, I think, but we'll see. We'll see if it happens again.
Yeah. Right. What would you say are like the perks of playing in the ACHA? Like if somebody was debating, like, oh, I got some NCAA offers, but I also have some ACHA offers. What would you say are like the pros of playing in the ACHA?
So to touch on that NCAA comment as well, there's a number of guys that I've talked to and myself that have had a few offers in the NCAA D3 league. A big thing in the ACHA is there are scholarships through the school. I know here we offer a lot of academic scholarships to players. So you're getting a scholarship, you're getting some money. It's not technically through the team or through the league, but the cost of school is really nice and cheap down here. So that's definitely a plus. And honestly, it's just the experience you get, like I said earlier, getting to go places that you've never been, and creating those bonds with guys that you're with for 4 years. It's such an amazing feeling to have with them. If you do something special. So yeah, playing in the ACHA is probably one of the most fun leagues you could play in as well. We're not shy to have a good time here and there. So it's not too serious, but it's definitely nice to be in the league and see it get more recognition as well. And the competitiveness of this league is definitely going up. So being a part of it's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent in the league. There's a lot of guys you're seeing in recent years that are going to play overseas or they're playing in the FPHL or the SPHL after. So there's definitely a lot of talent, and like we mentioned earlier, beating an NCAA program, it's showing that yeah, you guys are competitive, but there is going to be, like you mentioned, a little bit less of you can have a little bit more fun because you're not going to have the same focus that an NCAA program has with scholarship players that have money through a team. And so a little bit different. And I guess if somebody wanted a good hockey experience without the stress and the spotlight, maybe ACHA route would be a good route for them.
Yeah, for sure.
So to go, I guess, kind of away from your playing career, just some kind of random questions like who's your favorite NHL team growing up?
Growing up was the Calgary Flames. I just my dad cheered for them, so I said I would too. And in the last few years, we've kind of changed our mind with how the Flames have been performing. So right now, I would say the Kraken are my favorite team for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, the Kraken, they had a good year last year, a little bit of a tough start so far this year, but there's growing pains with not everyone can be Vegas when they
Yeah,
come in, and that's
exactly.
that's definitely not the norm for an expansion team.
No, not at all. It's kind of just a jump ship, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Pick the Kraken. They were when they were the worst in the league or close to it. So I was like, well,
Right.
it's a new team. I mean, they got some pretty good prospects, so I might as well get on their bandwagon while it's at the bottom.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to be the guy jumping on when they're starting to get good, and then you're a true bandwagon. If you start
Yeah,
liking a team when they suck, nobody really cares.
yeah, exactly.
So who's your favorite player growing up?
I watched quite a few different guys. Towards junior, I started to watch Shea Theodore a lot. Um, a lot of guys compared my game to his, so I started watching him, and I liked his game, so he was probably my favorite. But I also like Victor Hedman. He's a bigger defenseman. He's kind of developed his game into a two-way guy. And I really like that because I've recently changed. I was more offensive minded. So I kind of like to cheer for guys that kind of play the same style that I do.
Yeah. Shea Theodore, didn't he win the hardest shot competition a few times at the skills for the All-Stars? Did he win or is that somebody else?
Uh, I know he was up, I think he did at one point or he was close, but
Yeah.
he's definitely one of the guys that I've always kept tabs on for sure.
Yeah, yeah, he's always had it. He had a great career, and he's definitely a good player. And Hedman too. I mean, he's a big reason that the Lightning won those cups. So I mean, he's definitely a really good defenseman. If you could have any NHL guys as your line mates, who would you pick? Like right now, you have anyone to be your line mates out of the NHL.
Um, it's a tough one. If I was playing D, I would definitely choose Makar, I think. Just the things that guy can do on the ice is unbelievable. I would
Yeah.
we do more watching than playing, but I think it'd be pretty cool to be out there with him. Um, and obviously, I'd probably try to play with McDavid. Um, I mean, that guy is just out of this world when he gets going. So I'd also probably watch more of him than do playing. But again, two guys that it would just be really cool to see how they operate around the rink.
Yeah, I mean McDavid's obviously the best player in the game right now, and Makar, he's something else. I mean the stuff he can do as a defenseman and how young he is, it's just crazy to watch when the Avalanche had their cup run and some of the stuff he was doing. It's just nuts to watch
Yeah,
these guys.
it's almost like they're not human when they're on skates.
No, it's really not. You got to sit back and you're just like, wow, I can't believe somebody can do that. It's crazy. They definitely are superhuman in some senses. I mean, it's just nuts some of the stuff these guys can do. It's how fast they can skate, how good they can skate, their stick handling, their puck work. I mean, the way some of their shots, you look at some of these guys, Matthews and some of these guys, I mean, they have just the craziest shots in the world. It's really nuts. So, what about your favorite food?
Yeah. Honestly, I eat pretty much everything. Obviously, being this size, I eat a lot, but I'd have to say steak is definitely right there, number one.
Yeah.
Um, at any point, if you offered me a steak, I would say yes. Recently, my sister got me into it. I like lobster a lot too. Never had it
Okay.
until a few years ago. My sister made me try it, didn't really give me an option. So I learned that I liked it that day. So I could go for a surf and turf, I think is my number one.
There you go. Yeah, I like that. What about what's your favorite non-hockey sport? Like if you had to sit down and watch something not hockey.
Oh, I could watch golf a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are nuts. I love
Yeah.
playing it. So I think that's one that I love watching golf. The Masters, all the boys get together and we watch that pretty religiously. So I'd say golf. And I've recently grown into watching a lot of football. One of my roommates is American. He's loved it, played it, and he loves everything about it. So he makes me sit down on Sundays and watch football with him. So I'm starting to like it.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the CFL growing up in Canada?
Yeah, I watched a lot of CFL growing up in Calgary. We had the Stampeders, so we went to a lot of those games. And when I was really young, I went to a couple Saskatchewan Roughrider games. So obviously, I've been kind of in touch with the CFL, not so much the NFL, but now I'm kind of getting into it. So
Yeah, and you understand the basics. There's a lot of similarity. I mean, there's some differences between the leagues, but pretty much the same game.
yeah, exactly. It's a lot
Yeah.
better in the NFL, but it's the same stuff. So
Yeah. So what are your hobbies? Like when you're not playing hockey, what do you like to do for fun?
uh, like I said, I love golfing. I had a membership out here, so we'd go every day at least once in the summer and in August and stuff. So golf's definitely number one, something I love to do. Um, I also love to go fishing. That's just been something I've done with my dad since I was 3 years old, maybe. So that's kind of just stuck with me. Sometimes I like working on my car as well and working on my friends' cars in the garage. It's pretty fun just to hang out and work around and just hang out pretty much all day and have some fun.
Are you the best golfer on the team?
No, no, I'd love to say I am, but I'm not. We got a couple guys that are pretty good. One of our freshmen's, say, a scratch golfer at least, so he definitely takes a cake on that one.
Yeah. Hey, at least you're honest. You admit it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
They make
right. In
fun of
case
my
somebody
brother.
watches it and
Yeah,
watches the episode and
exactly.
they're like, yeah, come on, Greg. And you get shit for it for the rest of your
Get on me if I'm saying I'm the best. So yeah, there's a
Yeah.
couple that are definitely up there, but um, not the best. I'm a little bit above average, I'd say. So
Hey, that's
I'll
that's
take
all you need. Yeah, that's all you
exactly. I'll
need.
take it.
All right, Greg, thanks for hopping on this episode of the podcast. Wish you guys the best with the rest of your season. Hopefully you guys can go out on top here with your last season. But yeah, thanks for hopping on the pod.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.